Okay, so I'm here today with Clifford Marker from ourbuilding.com, an English pilot who has set up an hour building operation down here at Bordeaux-Saucats airfield in the southwest of France, where Linguero is also based, so my new English neighbour. So Clifford, why don't you tell me a little bit about you and about how our building came into existence?
Okay, so I got my pilot's license probably about 6 or 7 years ago. It was due to my wife not wanting me to buy a yacht, so she bought me a trial flight at Stapleford Abbots. So I then went off and did my pilot's license, and then I bought myself a little Cherokee, a Golf Lima Tango Foxtrot Bravo. And so my dog just happens to be a little YouTube star, or he was when he was a bit younger. Percy the Labrador, if you look him up on YouTube. So back in 2019, we had a number of sponsors to fly myself, my wife and the dog around Europe, visiting dog-friendly hotels, trying out dog-friendly toys and things like that. So I retired from my job in 2019 and off we went to Europe with dog in tow off to these hotels. Then, as everyone knows, COVID hit and we was in Spain at the time. So we ended up staying in Spain for, I think it was 18 months with the COVID restrictions. And so while I was there, we sort of grew fat floating in a pool. And at the time I was renting my aircraft to friends of mine in Gibraltar and various others. And from renting the plane to my friends, I then met up with my mechanic I work with now, Fran, and we formed up a little partnership, and I bought some more planes, and we now rent aircraft to English pilots and European pilots. And the client base is primarily modular students that are working their way to their CPL. They need to complete 100 or so hours after they've completed their ATPLs. So we're renting 100-hour blocks or so to these pilots. We have a base in Granada in Spain. We have a base here now in Bordeaux, and the company's slowly expanding.
And why would you encourage young pilots to come and do their hour building in Europe rather than doing it in the UK?
Well, Europe, it's to do with the weather. Now, in Granada, we tend to fly from late September all the way through till June. And we stop operations primarily in the summer, which is the mid-June till mid-September because of the temperatures. Our airfield's at 2,500 feet, and the last takeoff we did, which was during the day, was with one of our hour builders, Anglais, and it was 43 degrees. And where the aircraft normally takes off within 300 or 400 meters, we're using 1,000 meters of runway to get off the ground. So it becomes dangerous, and also it becomes uncomfortable. These airplanes are not very nice to fly in when it's 40 plus outside.
Okay, and what are the main differences you've noticed flying in France compared to flying in the UK?
Well, in the UK, especially in the London area, I come from Thaden Boys, so my local airfield is North Weald or Stapleford Abbots. So we're in the London CTR area. So we're restricted to heights of 1,500, 2,500 because of the controlled airspace. And general aviation on a good day in the UK is extremely busy, and we're working off the Lars radio, and in the area there's 3 Lars radio. You can be connected to either one of them, and the amount of times we've got close to other aircraft because they're on a different radio frequency. So you've got crowded airspace. You've also got a very, I'd say, lively ATC. So where the ATC are normally there to assist your flying, ATC in the UK we tend to find is they can be quite aggressive. especially to young pilots who haven't got a lot of ATC flying experience and also are not the most confident when it comes to radio calls. And pilots make mistakes. We're all learning and we make mistakes all the time. Even after 7 or 8 years and hundreds of hours of flying, I'll make a mistake. And also, if you bust an airspace in the UK, you'll have the CAA all over you and giving you fines, lessons and the likes. In Europe, the ATC tend to be very sort of accommodating. They're very accommodating to inexperienced pilots. Plus, there's not as much traffic in Europe as there is in the UK. France, I'd say there's half, maybe 3/4 the amount of traffic. And in Spain, there's no traffic. And in sort of the Granada region, we have a restricted area around the ILS of the Granada airfield. And the amount of times I've heard on the radio where students from the local flying schools down in Malaga have busted that airspace, and all the controller does is say, don't do it again. There's no recourse, there's no chasing you up, there's no fines, there's none of these go and sit a little course to learn all about your mistakes. So it's a friendlier environment to learn and to get experience flying within Europe compared to the UK. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alors, petit débrief de la discussion que je viens d'avoir avec Clifford, donc un véritable anglophone qui ne parle aucune autre langue, qui vient de débarquer en France. Donc, un anglais plus pur que ça, il n'y en a pas. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il faut retenir de ce qu'on a entendu dans cette discussion ? Ben pour moi, la chose la plus frappante chez un véritable anglophone, c'est le nombre de verbes à particules, ce qu'on appelle en anglais phrasal verbs, qu'il utilise. Donc, par exemple, quand il a dit qu'il voulait aller acheter un avion, il n'a pas dit « I bought an aeroplane », il a dit « I decided to go and buy myself an aeroplane ». Quand il a parlé de son chien, Percy, le labrador, pour dire « vous pouvez aller le chercher sur Internet », il n'a pas dit « you can go and search on the Internet », il a dit « you can go and look him up on the Internet ». Quand il a parlé de son déménagement en Espagne, il n'a pas dit « nous sommes allés en Espagne, we went to Spain », il a dit « and off we went to Spain ». Et puis, on est parti comme ça en Espagne. Encore quelques petites tournures assez intéressantes qu'on retrouve chez les anglophones natifs, notamment les Britanniques. C'est la manière dont ils introduisent certaines phrases. Donc quand il a voulu dire « il s'agit de la météo », il n'a pas dit « it concerns the weather », il a dit plutôt « it's to do with the weather ». Donc, être en lien avec, to be, to do with something. Et autre petite tournure très intéressante, c'est quand il a parlé de quelque chose qui arrive très fréquemment. Donc, quand il a parlé des infractions en espace contrôlé, il n'a pas dit « infringements happen often », il a dit « the amount of times pilots infringe airspace ». Donc, en fait, grammaticalement, c'est pas correct, parce qu'on précise pas derrière un certain montant. Mais dans une discussion, on va dire, spontanée comme ça, bien souvent on le dit. The amount of times people infringe controlled airspace. Voilà donc une petite discussion avec un véritable anglophone pour voir un peu en quoi le véritable anglais d'un anglophone diffère un peu de celui qu'on utilise en France. En tout cas, j'espère que cette vidéo vous a plu. Bon vol à tous et à très bientôt. Au revoir.